The stereotypical roles women are expected to play in their households, at their workplaces, and in society in general are an issue that many people have spoken out against and fought against for decades, and it continues to be controversial today. Throughout Spanish history, there have been transitional periods back and forth between an unequal society to an equal society. In the light of these changes, the gender roles in society are constantly developing. This issue only becomes more controversial through the use of media and press. Between 1931 and 1936, during the Second Spanish Republic, men and women were deemed equal. This equality meant women could vote, run for political office, and were considered equal to their husbands in marriage. During this period, women were adamant about being seen as an equal sex rather than the submissive sex. Throughout the United States, there were feminist and suffrage movements in the late 1920s, which was then recognized by European countries, Spain being one of them. In 1936, when Franco took over, the growth the country had seen during the Second Spanish Republic was diminished. As the new dictator, Franco's first order of business was to call women out of the workplace. Franco wanted to reinstill the idea of the traditional family into Spain. This traditional family meant that women were to be in the home with their only job to be acting as a mother and taking care of the house and children, while the husband was to be the breadwinner. Franco stated that the home was divine and that women should be honored that their role was to take care of it. Franco ordered that women dressed modest and maternal in order to avoid body-tempting men. While some women eventually returned to the workplace during Franco's reign, it was only because of the demand for more workers in the workplace. This inability of women to work in the workplace created a huge wage gap. At this time, women were inferior to men, had no control of their lives, and their sole responsibility was to do whatever they could to please their husbands. Once Franco died, Spain went through a transitional time, working back towards creating a democracy. The relationship between women, men, and families as a whole changed, as well as family policies. The rights of women were reinstated as an effort to make up for the past decades of hurt and inequality they had experienced. Spain continually looked to the European Union for help, almost as a country they could mirror their policies off of. Women at this time wanted to start with changing their personal lives. Their main focus was on gaining basic rights again. Once they felt comfortable with those basic rights, they would focus on changing the view of household roles and the portrayal of family life. When it came to women's rights groups, their main goal was to make steps towards political change. The use of contraceptives became legalized and gave women the sexual freedom they had so long gone without. Today, Spanish feminist organizations are continuing to flourish. Both men and women participate in protests to speak out against about the mistreatment or sexualization of women. Oftentimes, these protests are an effort to fight against the portrayal of women in media. Many companies use advertisements that do not reflect the progress since Franco's death. These portrayals in media use citizens as sex objects, but in light of the history of traditional Spanish roles, the use of women is most offensive. Here are a couple examples of these advertisements. In this Armani jeans campaign, we can see that a female is placed in the traditional role of cleaning the house. She is wearing a sexy maid outfit that is demeaning and unrealistic. We can also see how she worships and gawks over the shirtless male figure, Cristiano Ronaldo. This sexualizes both genders, but it puts the women in the inferior position and the men in the superior one. This commercial was seen as very offensive when it was aired, and it thankfully was taken off. When confronted with why the commercial was approved, Desigual said they wanted to portray the message of the power of people to make decisions. However, this commercial only portrays women as only wanting to be a mother, and they will do whatever it takes. This further adds to the negative connotation placed on women. In this cleaning product advertisement, a mother is cleaning her house and is excited about how cleaning now will give her more time with her kids later. The advertisement fails to mention or insinuate any male figure taking care of the traditional household roles. This advertisement again places women in an inferior position, while males are seen as breadwinners. While there has been progress made within the last century towards the equality of women, there are still vast opportunities for improvement. This growth can come from continued protests and the acknowledgement of inequality not only in Spain but around the world.